Okay, today we are at McGaw Old Cemetery in Nile Township, Scioto County, Ohio. And this cemetery is located off of Upper Twin Creek near the Rocky Fork and Tree. So not too far from it, but we are in Shawnee State Forest. You can see that we have an older sign here. Fortunately, when we get up to the top, you'll see why it's good that we have a sign, because from the road you would never know there was a cemetery here. Now, we've already walked up today, make sure that we startled any snakes and moved any greenbrier out of the way. That way it was easier whenever we went to walk through with the cameras. But this is about 100 yards off the road and uphill. And one of the reasons we like to come to cemeteries in the fall and in the winter and early spring is because all of the greenbrier and the ticks are pretty non-existent. So you can see as we get close to the top, again, some greenery. We've already cut back some bronze. And then you can get the camera off of the... Yeah. We got a down tree. Been here for a couple years. First visited in 2017. We first visited in 2017 when we were taking photographs for Google Maps. Well, recently we noticed that at a lot of locations for cemeteries where we had taken photographs, the 360-degree view photos from Google Street View, those cemeteries were no longer listed. And McGaw Cemetery fortunately was, but it's on our way to Absher Cemetery, which was removed. So we wanted to kind of stop here and show you, when we mentioned what rural cemeteries look like. This is pretty rural. Yeah. But at one time, there would have been a small community near here. In this case, it would have been McGaw. And strangely enough, maybe not strangely enough, it's a coincidence that a lot of the people that are buried here are McGraws. Mm-hmm. So it's not McGraw Cemetery, it's McGaw, so M-C-G-A-W. And Amanda went through a little bit earlier and cleaned away some of the leaves from the inscriptions. They're really light. Mm-hmm. They're most likely hand done with a sharp instrument. But they're not very deep. So it's been good that they were done on limestone, because it's held that inscription better than what marble would have. We were able to locate one marble marker. There may be more, but we really haven't probed the area to look. Amanda, would you like to read this first one first?
This one, it says M.F. McGraw. And then on the back side of it is an...
I'm going to go around to this side.
It says S.E. McGraw.
And we do have a date on there. Is it 1896?
I believe so.
1898.
1898.
Mm-hmm. And then we have what looks to be maybe another footstone. It's hard to tell because some of these, such as this, is H. McGraw. Can't really tell if that's a headstone or a footstone. Right. But we'll pan around. We have this small one here. That's Haley McGraw. And then possibly a footstone or possibly a headstone, because we come back this way and we have more markers. And they're not necessarily, in position. like they would be for burials. So maybe trees have fallen down and kind of displaced them. There are a bit of a slope, so they could have been moved out of the way. But if you were to look just across this slight rise in this flat area coming up from the creek, you would never know that there was a cemetery here, but through the years, it looks like family have been here, maybe not quite some time, but they've left flowers. And this is another McGraw. Looks like NT McGraw. And another. And possibly two more, just based on how they're in a straight line with these. And that's it for those on this end. We go to the middle, and really didn't see any evidence of headstones or footstones. It's hard to tell if they're burials or they're just uprooted trees that aren't here anymore. But we do have here some markers that are in straight lines, and then here these are all in a similar orientation, facing east. Here we have a footstone, or traditionally a footstone. It says DEW, and so far it's the only surname that we've seen that ends in W.
Yeah.
We've seen Pattons and we've seen McGraws. And a good example would be here for William A. Patton. And do we say 1888 or 1889?
1888, I believe.
And we can see how fine that inscription is. Kind of explored over here on this side of the down tree. Didn't see any evidence of markers. There's lots of uprooted trees over there. Another fieldstone. It's not marked other than with flowers. And then here's the headstone of George W. And we said that was McGraw, and he died in 1867.
Yeah.
So December 4th, 1867. Aged 10 years, 7 months, and 10 days. So this is the only marble marker that we were able to find. And we turn to face downhill from whence we came. And we have another seemingly unmarked headstone. Interesting that there's a cedar stump right there at the head of it. And then Amanda found this one here that says McGraw baby sister. And if you can see the wider letters, when you're really close you can see individual like tick marks. So a narrow chisel would have been used to cut that out. And we'll come back closer to where we started. And this is W.F. McGraw. And it says born August 5th, 1881, died October 1st, 1896. And that this face is downhill from where we came up at. But we'll just kind of turn around here and give you a good panning view. So here's WF's. There's baby sister McGraw. We have George McGraw. And then William A. Patton. DEW. And we'll rotate this way. Nothing really to the middle. And then to the east, we have, you see that was NF and F. McGraw in the foreground, and then Haley McGraw in the background, and then at least 8 more burials that we can tell. So this is McGaw Old Cemetery, located in Nile Township, Scioto County, Ohio. Thanks for watching. Okay, walk in here in the middle with me. We'll just take a